you can stop eating, man. You're gonna be fine, right? So it's been 538 days. I just checked that ever since I started fasting with the objective of weight loss. Basically, what I did is that for most days, right, I would do OMAD, one meal a day. So that means that between one meal to the next, there's a 24-hour fasting window. And besides that, I would also do other days where I wasn't scheduled days where I wasn't fasting for 24 hours, but I was still fasting, right? Let's say I was having two meals instead of one meal. And I did that for about, not for about, I just 538 days, 2 years, a year and a half, right? And I've lost around 30 pounds at this point. I've made a lot of mistakes during the process, and I've learned a lot through my mistakes. In this video, I want to talk about this question that comes up very often when we talk about fasting, which is, can you do it long term? Right? Is it a sustainable weight loss strategy for the long term? Because here's the thing that I have noticed: if you were overweight for a very long time, which was my case, I was overweight since I was a child. Ever since I was a kid, all my memories that I remember, I was already chubby. All the doctor visits that I did when I was a teenager or whatever, I had the doctors telling me that I needed to lose weight, that I was pre-diabetic, that I had insulin resistant, all this whole thing. Ever since I have memories of going to doctors, I remember that was the conversation around the topic. And if you did that your whole life, it's probably going to take you more time than you expect to lose that weight, because you have to rewire your whole identity when it comes to food. You have to rewire your relationship with food. You have to erase decades, maybe, of bad mistakes, bad habits, wrong choices, and just your mentality when it comes to the whole thing. So it's a very important question that we solve today because, well, if you're going to have to diet for a pretty long time, more than you probably expect, right? We're not bodybuilders. I was never a bodybuilder. I didn't have the pure control over the calories and everything. I didn't have that insane discipline or anything like that. I was just a normal guy, and I wanted to get in better shape. I wanted to look better. I wanted to stop hating myself when I looked in the mirror. I wanted to feel confident in my own skin, right? Wearing the clothes that I wanted, talking to girls, going out, just being comfortable in my own skin. And if it's going to take a long time, we have to make sure that the strategy that we're picking to lose that weight is a good strategy. Because otherwise, what's going to happen is that you are going to give up. It's that simple. A diet. I've noticed that the diets your weight loss, your cut, it doesn't fail because you made a mistake. It fails because you give up on it. Because if you keep insisting on doing the thing, and you keep insisting on just fixing all the little mistakes, identifying and fixing all the little mistakes that you're doing throughout time, eventually you're going to get it right, and eventually the weight's actually going to come off. And that's what happened to me. So if fasting is not a long-term sustainable practice, then there's no point in doing it because, well, fuck it, you're not going to solve all your problems in 2-3 months. That's unreasonable. That's unrealistic. That's something that only a very small amount of people can actually do, and those people are usually people that are already accustomed to the whole process of gaining and losing weight. So over this past year and a half, I think I came to a conclusion that is indeed, it's like I have no intention of ever stopping this thing that I'm doing. I have no intention of ever eating more than 2 meals a day. And I cannot fathom the idea that at some point, I cannot fathom the idea that at some point I'm not going to be, not doing any of the 24-hour fast during the week. Because I think that's very powerful, not only when it comes to weight loss, but for all the other benefits that are associated with fasting as well, right? Some water here. Better mental clarity. I'm more focused. I'm sharper, more energetic. My body just works better. Things are more well tuned because you don't have that junk of being digesting everything all the time. So I think that if you do it correctly, there's a correct way of doing it, and If you do that correctly, then you can just keep fasting forever. You can just stop eating and you're going to be fine, right? And people have this fear, man, this fear of fasting because they think it's going to melt all their muscles. In my community, right, I have a community, a school community. I'm not telling you to go join or anything. Do whatever you want. In my community, I had multiple people already coming to me and being like, "Hey, man, I want to do this fasting, but I'm afraid of losing muscle," or it's like, "Oh, I work out at this time, and I'm only going to have my meal like a long time later. Is that going to destroy my muscles and whatever?" It's like people are very afraid of losing muscle, but that doesn't happen at all in my experience. Of all the weight that I've lost, maybe I've lost like what 1 or 2 pounds of muscle, if a lot, compared to the rest that I've lost that was mostly fat. So that's not like 24 hours is not that extreme of a fasting window anyways. You can fast for 24 hours every day, and you're probably going to still be fine, but I do not recommend you do that. I recommend, what I always tell people to do is to pick a few days of the week that you're not fasting, or that you're doing an alternative, an adapted version of the fast, because I think you do need those breaks, not only for physical reasons, but also for your mental game. Like dieting fatigue is a real thing. If you put yourself in a calorie deficit for a long time, you're going to start getting tired of it, right? Of this feeling of getting, of burning through the energy reserves that you have all the time. So it's really important to have those days. In my case, what I always did was from Monday to Friday, because I had work, because I had a 9 to 5 office job that I had to commute and all that stuff. I would do the 24-hour fasts on those days, OMAD, right? So one meal a day, Monday to Friday. I was distracted with work. It was perfect. It fit my routine. Everything was all right. And then Saturday and Sunday, you usually have more social stuff. You have more time. You go out for a nice coffee. You go out for a drink with your boys. I would have only like 2 meals a day, right? And not necessarily fasting, right? So a lot of the times what I would do, most of the times what I would do is have breakfast, because I love having breakfast. I love the breakfast meal. It was just good. Like a later breakfast, and then I would have like dinner and maybe a coffee in between, like a nice coffee. That's what I did a lot of the times. And that helps you. It's like a reset. And more than a physical, is a mental reset. Because like, oh, okay, boom, I got a little bit more calories in. I got a little bit more of, I don't know, nutrients for my body to work and process and whatever. I'm not letting it get too used to the whole being fasting all the time. And then I'm mentally and physically refreshed to start the next round of one meal a day fasting. And that's the only way that I found. I know myself very well. I was 100% sure that if I went straight up to one meal a day every single day, I would get fucked. I can probably do that now. And I'm going to attempt to do that in the next few months, as my life's like really changing. Like if you guys look at my house. There's fucking nothing in here right now because I'm in the process of like moving. I have an empty fucking room with like 6 chairs. I could start an evangelical church here. Just bring people. I can start like a circle of rituals or whatever, because I just have a bunch of chairs in an empty room. I'm in the process of moving. So next few months, I'm going to be attempting to go a little bit harder on doing the OMAD every day to see how that goes as an experiment. But at the time that I started, man, I was weighing 230 pounds. Like I was sure I couldn't do it. Like if I decided to do every single day, I knew myself and I knew that I was going to break and I was not going to follow it through. So what I decided to do was that version of the adapted version. And that's why I say you can just stop eating and you'll be fine, because I didn't go after research to get to that conclusion. I didn't go after studies. I didn't go after influencers. I didn't go after validation from people on the internet. I knew the fasting was effective. I had tried different forms of fasting before in the past, and I quite enjoyed it, to be very honest. So I just followed my intuition. I just had an intuition that is like, man, I think if I do it like this, is going to work pretty well, because honestly, at the time, I didn't give less of a fuck about the health benefits. I don't really give a shit about that. Oh, reverse your aging process. Like, I'm 23, man, and honestly, the aging, I'm not really concerned about aging right now. It's like, I don't know. I consider myself to be a pretty smart guy. I've read a lot of books. I speak multiple languages. Not trying to brag or anything. So I was not worried about the cognitive improvements, and I was not worried about getting sharper, getting more clarity. I had enough clarity in my life. But I was not expecting how many benefits I would get. I think the biggest one was just the energy. I thought I would just be drained all the time, but I wasn't drained all the time. And even as I went deeper and deeper and longer, and the months went by, and the weight started coming off more and more and more, I thought that at some point I was gonna feel exhausted all the time, and that honestly never happened. That just never happened. Okay? So some mistakes that I committed, right? Some mistakes that I committed, since we're talking about that right now, so you can avoid them. Oils and butters, be careful with that. It's a lot of calories. Measure that shit. At some point, I was having way too much olive oil, and it was just completely erasing any sort of fasting that I was doing. I plateaued for months. Something else is that it doesn't really, if you're doing this to lose weight, it doesn't really matter what you eat. It doesn't really matter, okay? I've lost 30 pounds eating pizza and pasta every single day. Like, of course, I put a source of protein in it. Have some source of protein, a source of fat, a source of carbs. But I was just having that shit, right? The homemade pizza and pasta, and I've lost 30 pounds. So also don't think, do one thing at a time, right? If you're not dieting, you're not doing anything right now, you're not going to start at the same time working out 5 times a week and walking 10,000 steps a day, fixing your dieting, start fasting. You're not going to do all those things at the same time, right? Put one thing in place, and then you add on the next thing. Just this year, just like literally last month, I started doing 10,000 steps a day. Before that, man, I wasn't like, you know what, whatever. It's a few. I don't have time. I don't. It's not my problem anymore. I was employed. So I just didn't have the fucking time to do it. I have 3 hours a day of commuting to and from work. So focus on doing one thing at a time, but you can definitely do this for the long term. It's gonna be next year. It's gonna be 2 years, right? And then after 2 years, I'll probably record another video, because that's a significant measure, I guess, another full year. But I don't see the point of stopping this, because as time goes by, I only get better at it, and I only feel better with it. And whenever I deviate from eating like this, I feel just really bad, just really shitty. You get sensitive to foods, right? You get a lot of sensitivity to foods. Everything just tastes amazing, and you can really feel how certain types of food make you feel. Like, if you eat something that's a little bit heavier, you're gonna be feeling that. Like, you're gonna be feeling that all night. You're gonna feel that next day. So it's a great thing. It's a great signal. It's a signal that your body is healing. It's a signal that you are fixing all the fucked up stuff that you did with it over the past decades, or whatever, how long, many times you've been fat little bastard. I don't know, but that was the message for today's video, man. Stop worrying about starving yourself. Like, it's nothing crazy that you're thinking of doing. Just give it a shot. Okay. God bless. You guys have a nice weekend. I'll see you next time. Cheers.